As a little girl, I was intrigued with watching my mom and grandparents sitting at the table having coffee, and I wanted coffee. But my mom said, you can't have coffee, but you can have tea. As I grew into adulthood, tea became my choice. I began to study about different flavors and where tea originated. Hello, Tea World. Welcome to my new podcast with Benny Richardson, Tea Talk, where we're going to talk, empower, and advance. Now, come on, get your teacups, grab them, and let's have tea talk. Hello, Tea World. I'm so glad that you're back with me. We're going to do a few spiritual insights. You all talked so much and you all shared so much when my husband was here, so I wanted to bring him back to let him share just a few spiritual insights with you. I'm glad to have Harvey Richardson, my husband, with me from Life Changing School of Ministries. And I have a few questions I want to ask you and just want you to share your spiritual insights.
I'd be glad to do so, but I need to do one thing.
What is that?
I need to say, hello, world.
You was like saying that, right?
I love it. I love
right.
to say,
Hello, world.
and thank you. Thank you for having me at your tea, and so we can just share some things with the world.
Glad to have
Thank you.
Okay, let's jump in. What does it mean to sup with Christ? If you hear that, what does that mean?
To sup with Christ, it reminds me, it comes to memory, that word sup, of course, we will find that in the book of Revelations, and I can speak on that part of it, what it means to me. A sup is really a spiritual invitation, to have a relationship or to build a relationship with Christ. Mm-hmm. Sup means to dine. Sup means to fellowship with. So that's the general meaning of the word, to sup. And if I would just use that scripture, I think Revelation 3:20, it speaks about, and just Jesus is speaking, mm-hmm. And it says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Mm-hmm. And it says, if any man, and I'm gonna put in a woman, because we talk about a spiritual thing, will open the door.
How do you open the door?
To open the door is not a physical thing, it's a metaphor. So we're not talking about open a real door, but open your heart. Open up and sup with him. Hear his voice and to sup with him. And I think that's so important that we understand that meaning, because the things it says, if any man will open the door. Mm-hmm. But he says he's standing at the door and knock. Mm-hmm. See? And knocking, it calls a response. If someone knocks on your door, it's just a response to it. But if you will open the door, he's inviting you in to come and talk with him.
Talk with him.
And not just a one-way conversation. Not just one way, but he wants a conversation with the ones that open the door. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of people, they want to talk, but it's always a one way. Most people want to talk to Christ about what they want. I want a car. I want a girlfriend. I want a boyfriend. I want a house. Yeah? But he wants a conversation with you. And we can tell him about anything. If any man or woman, you could talk to him about anything.
Doesn't matter what it is.
It doesn't matter who it is. And the reality is you're talking to him and you're saying some things that he already knows.
But he
You
just
see?
wants you to
He just
share
wants you
it.
to share it with him and be transparent because he already knows. And I think that's what we miss so much. We miss so much because we look and says, it's no use, and so forth. But he does. He wants to have a conversation.
With you.
Yeah, two-way conversation.
Okay, let me ask you another question. How could one profess Christ yet not hear his voice?
When you said profess, same thing as claim Christ. And I think that there is a point of spiritual growth. I think it says in maybe Luke, the 6th chapter, maybe the 46th verse, it says about, why do you call me Lord, Lord? And you do not what I say. And a lot of people, that's what they do because they are so used to hearing not his voice, but used to hearing man's voice. But the thing that we need to understand, I do believe, that spiritual growth is a process in hearing. You just don't come, it takes a while, for you to be able to really hold a conversation and understand and to hear what the Spirit is saying, because that's what you do. We're so used to hearing the man, but not the Spirit, you see? So that means that it takes spiritual growth. It won't happen overnight.
So it takes time to really
Yeah.
be able to hear his voice.
To hear his voice.
And to really want to hear
Yeah.
his voice. A lot of people, like you say, they rather hear the pastor or
Yeah.
hear the prophet instead of wanting to hear God's voice.
Right.
And he wants to talk to us.
And when he talked to us, we say, who's that?
Yeah, I guess so, because you're not used to hearing
Yeah,
his
not
voice.
used to hearing his voice.
Okay, another spiritual insight. We have a few minutes. What is the trumpet sound that is going out to those who have an ear? There's a trumpet sound that is going out
Yes, it
to
is.
those who have an ear. What is the sound that is going out? What is the trumpet sound saying?
Okay. The trumpet sound, and there again, I can only speak from a certain level of understanding. And when I go to the book of Revelation, it speaks about the trumpet a lot. But you understand that a trumpet gives out different sounds. And different sounds call for a different response. It's just like the children of Israel when they were coming out of Egypt, on the way to the promised land, there was a trumpet that was sound. And that trumpet gives out certain signals to tell you when to get up, when to advance, when to be on alert and so forth. So there's a trumpet. But what is happening today is that there's a trumpet, and it's a prophetic sound. It's a spiritual sound that's calling for people to come up higher. Now, I'm only saying that this is where I am in my thinking. Now, a lot of people may not be on this level of thinking, but there's a spiritual tone that would grip the ears of those that are able to hear and respond. It's more than just hearing, but responding to the trumpet sound.
When you say come up higher, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Okay, when the trumpet is sounding, it calls us on different levels. From rim to rim, from glory to glory. It's a destination. And the trumpet sound, it's just like in the book of Revelation, it speaks about to come up higher. There is a call for those that can hear to come up higher.
Higher in
the realm of the spirit. You see, we are not used to in understanding, and we have not heard the sound. Now, let me personally, I've heard this trumpet sound. See, but it's not an audible sound. It's an inward sound. It's a spiritual sound that you hear. When he called me out of denominational system of church. I heard the sound to come out. And after I heard the sound that said come out, I heard him say come up higher. You
And
see?
to come up higher, you say higher in your thinking.
Higher in your thinking.
And your
how,
consciousness.
Yes. And he set directions in your life. You see? So there's a sound. It's an ongoing sound. And many people are responding. They hear the sound, they're responding. And they are being caught up. I can use the word rapture.
Rapture.
Yeah, I can use the word rapture, but not the rapture to a place out there in the sky, but the rapture in your thinking,
Rapture
the
in your
rapture
thinking.
to be enlightened. See, those are the things, those are the metaphors and the understanding that a lot of people don't understand because they think on the natural level of things. But the book of Revelation is a spiritual book. And to understand it, it has to be through and by the Spirit that you understand it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's understood on different levels.
So your spiritual insight for this, for those who are listening, would be that the Spirit is calling us higher, to come up higher in our thinking, to come up higher in our consciousness, to come up higher in our belief system, to come out of where we have been thinking,
Yes.
and to be willing to think higher, think different.
Right. Yeah. And there's levels, you know. You take like the tabernacle of Moses, they had the 3 dimensions, right? They had the outer court, you know, they had the holy place and they had the most holy place. Where there's a call for you to come out. You know, don't stay in the same place all the time, but there's a call. And this is what we have been stuck religiously. Many people are stuck because they don't understand that sound, you know, and so they don't know where to go. And a lot of people say they know that it's more than this, than just coming to church, sitting down, having a service, having a feel-good time, and leaving. You know, this has got to be a bigger purpose than where it is. So there's a call, there's a prophetic call that's calling us to this 3rd dimension, this kingdom order we've been called to. And those that have ear to hear, let them hear not what the pastor is saying to the church, not what the deacon is saying to the church, not what the bishop is saying to the church, but what the Spirit is saying. That the Spirit is the leading of the Spirit that's going to cause real change. And you wonder why we are where we are now. Because we heard many other voices, but we're yet to hear His voice. And when we hear His voice, it will cause change. And all this comes by supping with Him, you know? It goes back to the first question.
All this is going to happen as we sup.
As we sup
As we
with
spend
Him.
time.
That's it.
with Him.
Spend some times. And I'm talking about quality time with Him. And it can be all places that you would go, but there's be some time that you can spend in supper with Him. And you can tell Him about anything. Tell Him that, hey, I hate the people on my job. He already know you hate them. You know, I hate my husband. I hate my wife. You know, they're getting on my nerve. I'm tired of going to church. See, those are the things that we can talk to Him about. See, and it's a conversation.
Right.
It's a conversation, but all of it's about spirit. See,
Right.
and
So-
that's the reason why we can talk to Him
Because we're
spirit beings. You see, and the spirit, so we communicate through and by the spirit. You know, a lot of people says I got to have someone here to talk to. Well, He's there. Christ is there. You know, He's in us. See, so why not? We can't talk to Him now. Have a conversation with Him now. It makes no difference.
So that's like when He told us that the kingdom is within you.
Yeah,
So that's kingdom.
yeah,
Hearing Him, listening to Him, like you say, supping with Him, talking to Him about anything.
anything.
to understand that we have that privilege to go to Him
Yeah.
about anything.
About anything. Have that capacity and have that understanding that we can go to Him for anything that we need. Right.
Well, I just want to say, Superintendent Richardson, I appreciate you stopping by my Tea Talk and sharing just a little spiritual insight with us.
Yeah.
And I know you want to say something to the world out there before we leave. So you got a few minutes to say something to the world.
I just appreciate you listening. In order for us to understand and to know things, at least we can just listen. And it's not all about people trying to convert you, but for you to understand. And we hope that we are saying something that will encourage you, that will provoke you to want to listen more, to get a better understanding as the Spirit leads you. As the Spirit leads you to have a better understanding. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Tea Talk today. You can follow me on all social media platforms. You can subscribe, comment, like, and share.